All right, guys, Darcy and Jace here. We're doing a little bit of a workshop video on Jason's hip. We've just discovered that he's got some hip impingement, a little bit of range of motion that he's lacking in his hip internal rotation. So before I go ahead and fix him, we thought we'd film it so you guys can get a better understanding of how a real life treatment actually looks like. And yeah, Jace plays plenty of sport. He's running, he's playing footy, he does sprint training, weight training. So these types of things come up for us, and we need maintenance treatments where we're looking to release the tissues that have become short and tight or adhesive on one another. We want to make sure that we look after ourselves and our body's functioning the way it should be. Biomechanically, it's feeling free, so we don't end up with injuries down the track or things that are compensating that may lead to injuries. All right, Jay, so what we were looking for first of all is some assessment. So on this left side, I want you to do an active straight leg raise. Come on the side, Leo, and let's look at the difference. So we're looking for 90 degrees. We would call that just under 80, maybe 78, to be more precise. Let's have a look at the right one. Oh, and that's probably 68. I reckon 10 degrees less on that one.
It's good. Really precise degrees. Get the protractor out.
And then come over here, Leo. I want to get down the barrel. So look down the barrel, sir.
G'day, barrel.
How are you, barrel? All right, so what we're looking for here is internal rotation. And we're just comparing the right to the left. You can see that's pretty good and it feels nice, that end range. Lacking a little bit of external rotation.
Yeah.
How's that feel?
That one feels fine.
Yeah.
It just feels a bit tight going to external, but
Okay.
yeah.
And we'll compare the left to right. So when we're doing assessment, if there's an asymmetry between left and right, then we look at releasing that side because there's obviously some compensation stuff going or the pelvis is not aligned. If both sides are the same, then we work on both sides. Yeah, so that internal.
That's way less.
And do you feel a pinch there?
Not just yet, but if you go a bit further, it'll, so there. But it feels like you have to, feels like there needs more force to get into that range, where the other one just went there.
Yep.
A lot easier.
Yep, so the end range, you can see this end range, his whole body's shaking all the way down to his left toe. So it's meaning that ball and socket joint is really stuck. It's really like blocked. We want that not to be nice and free and just that motion and that range coming from his hip, not causing the whole body to move. And external.
That nearly feels better on this side, doesn't it? Yeah.
External's fine. Yeah. Okay. So what we're going to do, Jace, is we're looking at when we see a difference in internal rotation and external rotation on each side, we need to start to consider why is this happening. And generally, it's through our walking gait. If I come over here, Leo, in our walking gait, our hips need to move and rotate. One needs to go in an anterior rotation. One needs to go into an anterior tilt and the other into a posterior tilt. What I mean by this is, as I shift my weight forward, this hip is in an anterior tilt. This hip is in a posterior tilt. And as we walk through that gait or through that stride, they should move and rotate. So this hip now is posteriorly tilted. This hip is anteriorly tilted. So essentially our pelvis needs to do this as we walk. Okay, Jason's on the right side, I would say, is stuck in an anterior pelvic tilt, meaning that his limitations are coming from the fact that his hip is already anteriorly pelvically tilted in that position, meaning that when he comes up to do an active straight leg raise, that end range, that ball and socket joint is impinging on that hip. And same with his internal rotation. Internal rotation is going to be limited when our pelvis is already shifted forward, okay? So what we need to do is reduce that, release the muscles that are pulling the pelvis into that position, not reduce it. So what I'm going to start with is maybe we'll go into your psoas, man.
Straight away? Yeah, let's get the good stuff done.
Yep, so we look at the muscles that are pulling the hip into that position. And we've got our psoas that's going to be pulling our pelvis forward, our rec fem or our quad muscles, and our TFL, all the hip flexors of this pelvis or hip. So we come into our psoas. Yeah. Ooh. Bit of curry in there, man.
Nah, it's not too. It's just the initial shock of it all.
Yeah.
You never get used to psoas getting treated, that initial sink in.
You just got to make sure you go slow and not too invasive or hard. Just let your fingers slowly sink in with each breath, we get deeper and deeper and connect.
Oh, yeah.
Almost touching the inside of the lumbar spine. Jason doesn't have a lot of stomach fat, so it is an easier thing to do.
Especially at the moment.
Especially at the moment, yeah. Doing a fast as well, so there's no food in the way of this treatment either.
Oh, yeah, that way. It's got a bit on it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, right on the middle there. How does that feel?
Yeah, just good amount of pain. Feels like it's relevant. There's a little bit of like referral sensation, and pain. It's just like a fuzzing or a tingling almost down the quad,
Yeah.
which is quite normal with the psoas treatment.
Yeah. What you're going to do with this right hip is slide the heel up and down the mound. Or down the bed, sorry. So what we're looking to do is get this right hip to move the same as the left. We saw that there was a limitation in his active straight leg raise and his internal rotation. Good. Nice. Couple more. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
It's really fibrotic. As he brings his leg up, I really get a good feel that I'm right on the middle of that band. Nice, and relax. So the psoas attaches onto our lumbar spine from L1 to L5 and every transverse process of those lumbar spine. Okay, the next point you can see the finger marks, I've gone deep.
That's all right.
That's all right, isn't it? The next point I'm going to go to is our rec fem tendon, which ASIS, palpate those two bony landmarks, just off that. And I get a feel with my thumb, but Jace...
It's quite ropey in there, isn't
Yeah.
it? So the broader pressure feels a lot safer. It's not going to flick off it, but it feels more therapeutic for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon you can even angle up into it. No, so stay there, but angle up. Yeah, right there.
Right there.
Yeah.
That's the best treatment when you can speak to your practitioner and ask exactly where you want it, where you feel it.
That's all part of the process is, a two-way relationship between the person on the table and the practitioner.
Yeah.
So, you want to be, obviously the practitioner, you know the knowledge of all the anatomy and everything, but you still want to be guided by the person on the table, the client, of where specifically they feel it more. So if it feels like, oh, that's painful, but I reckon it's more just that way, then, give that direction.
So we're working the hip crease in this instance, and we're considering the muscles that are pulling that pelvis anteriorly. So whatever is creating torsion on that hip is exactly what we need to release and stop that tug of war, stop that pulling on that pelvis, and just allow that hip to sit neutral without any muscles or tissues that are really, causing strain. That strain after time is why we feel the pain or the impingement in the crease of our hip as well. So this is our rec fem tendon, and then as we roll over that, we also get a little bit.
That's on the money.
That's a bit of pectineus, so a small little adductor of the hip, or abductor, I should say, of the hip.
Oh,
We come in slowly.
yeah, that's a good angle there.
We've also got some glands or lymph node right in that area. They get out of the way. We go slow, and we sort of shimmy our elbow in nice and gracefully, and that just moves out of the way. And we pin and hold, getting that really effective
That's right
release.
where I feel it too.
Yeah, right on where Jason's been getting some pain.
Oh.
So I didn't move a lot, and it doesn't look like I'm doing heaps, but
Sometimes this is the best work when you just sit on something and hold it.
sustained pressure is the way to be effective. Think of something that's all bound up, tight, the muscles are adhesive, and you've got this like cobweb of fascia. We sort of pin that and allow the cobweb to sort of unravel and get out of the way.
Oh, yeah, there's a good one. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's good. Good pain. Just got to go through it. Take some deep breaths.
We're also encouraging this hip, or the femur that sits inside the hip on that acetabulum, so the ball and socket, we're actually encouraging that to be pushed back into a posterior
It's almost like
position.
a joint mobilisation at the same time with that deep sustained pressure.
think of the front of the hip being really pronounced and forward, and we're encouraging it back.
Which is going to create more space at the front.
Exactly, that's the key. Get more space at the front.
Oh, yeah. I reckon if you follow that down a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Oh, that's the exact feeling I get.
All right.
Oh,
It's
got some shakes in the leg too, I reckon,
Yeah.
down that side.
Sometimes it's nice just to put your hand on the client's leg and just give them some support. Give it a little bit of a distraction. I'm sort of pulling down here and working up there when it becomes a little bit overwhelming, because it can be quite painful in this area.
Oh.
And we sink out. Now, before we move on and test, I want to do his TFL. So, Jace side life, face Leo, the
Face the
cameraman. All right, so
Feet up.
both knees together. I like Jace to come closer to me, just so I'm not leaning over the table for other practitioners out there. And then we're
Save your own back.
Save my own back, man. And then we're hitting right up into this TFL. So the reason we bend the knee is so we soften the muscle. If his leg's straight out, that muscle becomes more rigid and it's really fibrotic and really hard for me to sit on. So he brings it forward, and that's just nice and easy.
Oh, yeah, you can get in a lot deeper because that muscle's relaxed. It's not on tension, it's shortened.
Yeah.
Oh.
A lot of people are going to be able
Oh,
to...
there it is. Sorry, Dave.
All
Cut you off.
good, all good. Are going to be able to relate to pain in this area. Another hip flexor of the hip. Another one of those pulley systems pulling the pelvis into that tilt that's shifting forward. Yeah, so it's not always both hips that are in that. So if you've been told before that you've got an anterior pelvic tilt, it's not always both sides. Sometimes we do the correct assessment, we have a look at the hips, and we can get a better understanding that it might just be the right hip that's pulled anteriorly, and the left hip is actually in a posterior tilt. So let's address the right hip.
Yep, that's good. Oh.
And do a really good job of eradicating the tension around this area.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's on fire. That's good.
You did some running last night.
Yeah,
Jace
I did
some
about
efforts.
6.5 Ks worth of running at footy training. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it ticked the legs over a little bit.
Yeah, hard surfaces, high intensity. You're almost sprinting for a lot of it. There's the tackling. There's the
Change of direction.
multi layers of movement that occur in footy. You know, yeah. Hard, fast, forward, backwards, side to side. And again, it might look a bit boring on camera, but there's so much going on under my thumb. You know, we're stimulating blood flow. We're getting rejuvenated blood and cells into this area, which is going to help heal this area. But all we're doing is giving the body its natural remedy. We're letting the body integrate.
Oh,
There's a nice little lump in there.
yeah, absolutely. That's good.
Greater trochanter. This is our bony landmark, our hard hip bone on the side. Just off that is our TFL. You can find this and treat this at home with a ball. You can foam roller, but
Broomstick.
Broomstick.
It's a bit more intense, but yeah, you can really pinpoint, and it really gives this same sensation of a thumb.
Exactly. Always spending a minimum of 2 to 3 minutes on a really good adhesive sticky point. We're looking for trigger points, refers down into the shin and ankle. That's that lateral line,
Oh.
our lateral fascial line.
Oh.
Yeah. And when there's curry in there, so when it's quite hot and sharp and painful, we still make sure that we're doing a really thorough job and working that, dissolving the hardness, melting away the stickiness. Yeah.
Oh, it's good.
Pressure should feel like pressure, you know? It just should feel like a thumb touching you. If it's more than that and there's sensitivity in there, then that muscle's probably short and tight and overworked, or it's long and weak and taut. Either way, we get in there and loosen it off, get some blood flow, and help break away those pain receptors.
Once you experience it, you know the difference between just a nice matter like treatment where you're not necessarily tight But yeah, it just feels that deep pressure, but there's no added sensations of sharp pain or like, oh yeah, real hot spots. So yeah, that's the goal I guess we have with clients, is to get to the point where they're getting maintenance sessions where it's just that therapeutic deep pressure sensation, not the added sharpness or referral pain or added sensations that come with when you've got tightness in the muscles or pain in areas.
Just doing active release. I want to make sure I've got all the weight of Jason's leg, supporting it with my rib cage, but also my arm, and just going into some extension, flexion, a little bit of abduction and adduction, and we can also internally rotate, encouraging that range that Jason's lacking. Really good. Our TFL is also an internal rotator. It's a small muscle, so there are larger muscle groups around the hip that are going to do more of internal rotation, but this guy will definitely play a role. All right, spend a few minutes in there, Jace. Let's get your line flat on your back. Actually, let's not test there. Let's go straight into some exercise. Let's get that pelvis position better. So what we're looking for is that right foot up onto the plyo box. So this is the second stage. We've done our treatment. Now we're looking to encourage the pelvis into that neutral symmetrical position. So you can see here, the left hip is now in an anterior pelvic position. So we're releasing this one, and the right hip is posteriorly tilted. Yeah, so
Going that way.
Going back. Exactly. What we're going to do, Jace, is think about our foot tripod. So we're pushing into this plyo box underneath our big toe, our first metatarsal, our fifth metatarsal, and underneath the heel of our foot. So we're thinking of that, and we're just going to rep out, getting our knee right over our toe. Really good. The back foot is up onto its forefoot. Go slower, Jace, and dive into it. That's it. Nice. Looks really good. Couple more. Let's do one more as slow as you can and really push your weight into that foot tripod. Look at that angle. That looks really good. You can see that pelvis push back. Nice. I like that. Do one more.
Really get it going.
Yeah, he felt the difference. When you get that connection, when you feel what you're meant to be doing, you want to do more of it because you get a better understanding and awareness of how my hips are meant to feel, or how the foundation of this movement is meant to be done. Okay, let's retest. Moment of truth. See
Here we go.
Treatment
Live
worked.
assessment.
All right. Start with the active straight leg raise from a side view.
This is a good side.
Good side.
Oh, I reckon that's even improved.
Yeah, that has improved. Yeah, really good. Almost 90 degrees. What were we at? 68?
68, you said, Dars. Yeah, that's
That
really
looks
good.
better as?
Big increase.
Yeah, good. And how's the pain feel in the front of the hip?
Yeah, nothing there, and it just
Nothing
feels
there.
so much freer.
Look, I think 90 would be
now
there.
it just feels hamstring.
So we'll say that's 88.
Stick to the 8s.
Stick to the 8 and come down this way, Leo, so we can look. All right, 0 degrees there. What we're looking to support the palm of the foot outside of the knee.
Oh.
Yeah, fantastic. And look at that. See how his whole body doesn't move to compensate for that movement? That end range to me, as a practitioner, just feels...
And there, as you move it a little bit more as well, it just
Yeah.
gets freer and freer. So
Yeah.
actually exposing it to that range.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good. I can feel his external rotations a little bit locked. And what I'd look to do there is maybe get into his glutes and piriformis, even his lower back. His QL might be, limiting the movement in his sacrum. So that's really good though. Look, that's pretty much end range. That's at least 35, 40 degrees. And I think that's about functional.
aiming for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
deemed functional when you're doing assessment. Retest, look at the other side.
More importantly, it's the same as the other. Like, you want it to be similar
Exactly.
on both sides.
Yeah,
So.
this one always felt good, and it's the same. External rotation's good on that side too. So there you have it, guys. If
Done.
you're looking to increase some mobility in your hips, give these exercises a go. Maybe get the ball into your TFL or your hip crease into that quad tendon. Stretch out your hip flexor, see how things start to feel afterwards. Otherwise, come and see one of our fantastic practitioners at MMT. Jace, Aaron's behind the camera here. He's pretty good at fixing blokes as well. So,
Or you can learn off Aaron and Ninja as well.
Yeah.
So if you want to learn more about this sort of treatment, learn how to fix people.
Learn how to fix people. There'll be a link below for our mentorship that
Starts in Feb.
Starts in Feb. We're in Feb already, so you better be quick. Don't miss out. Thanks for watching. We love you guys. We'll see you next time.
Very good.
Love.